Welcome back. Finally. It's been like a week, and for some reason it started me off face planted against this. Yeah. Really? Okay then. Frame rate's behaving itself this time as well. Good. Right.
No alarms. It's like nobody here knows about the mess I made on the way in.
Yes.
Nice job, Beth.
Cool. Right. Do not use the radar tower entrance as a smoking area. Some Friday social. Chronon text wanted. Please return all used cups to the kitchen. Return your cups so nobody has to die. Right. Now then, as I remember correctly, there are about 15 billion different things in here for me to read, aren't there? And they're speaking real slow like. So there's a Chronon thing over there. Really? Really? Oh wait, no, that was the thing that I could time shift, wasn't it? I could make it go up and down and stuff. Okay. Seriously? You done? Right, good. I've aided in Jack Joyce's escape from his cell. He is here to kidnap Dr. Sophia Amaral. This presents the perfect opportunity to move forward with our agenda. Tonight we send Monarch into a state of chaos. Tonight we ensure Paul Serene's downfall. When Paul hears about Jack's escape, he will order Sophia Amaral to be locked away in the villa for protection. As Jack nears her location, have Stetson sabotage the drone surveillance so that his movements will remain undetected. Do you know what a comma is? Assist Joyce's mission in any covert manner possible. Sophia is Paul's only resource capable of developing the treatments he needs. With her out of the picture, we only need to destroy his remaining treatments to render Paul helpless as his sickness grows. All of his treatments are kept in Dr. Kim's lab. I will gain access to the area and ensure that the entire lab is destroyed. I predict that Paul's sickness will take hold within 6 hours of these events, spurred by the increasingly frequent stutters. Only then will we make our final move. I think it already registered me as collecting that because I picked that up right at the end of the last session, didn't I? Okay. There. This is what? Okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. I just got word that Jack Joyce is in Monarch custody. Walked right into the mansion on Gull Island and gave himself up. What the hell are you two up to? If you want my help from the inside, then I need to know what's going on. Fiona. Yeah, oops. I'm sure you noticed that things didn't go exactly according to plan at Ground Zero. Seems like a running theme tonight. Can't go into details now, but we found something I believe is the key to retrieving the countermeasure. The solution is in sight, but we need to kidnap Sophia Amaral in order to get it to work. Jack gave himself up as part of a plan to get him inside. Jack gave himself up as a plan. Yeah, that does make sense. I'm on my way to release him so he could get to Amaral. Put him on Strojan horse. Desperate times, desperate measures. What's your status? Any update on the Dr. Kim lead? We may need your help from inside to pull this off. Any chance you can lower security in and around the R&D facility? Our plans might actually overlap for once. I'm going to attempt to access Dr. Kim's lab tonight during the gala to find out if he knew about the countermeasure. I still think that's our strongest lead. However, if I get inside, I should be able to shut down some of the security measures from inside. The problem is that getting inside that lab might prove to be a long shot. Couldn't get a hold of Amaral's keycard, so I've resorted to shamelessly flirting in order to find a means in. I'm going to the gala as Charlie Wincott's date in hopes that he can get me inside. That's if I can hold back from punching out the douche for that long. Consider this a test of restraint. I know that you think Jack is the key to obtaining the countermeasure, but the evidence is really stacking up that Dr. Kim knew something about the device. All of the research he did in that lab is classified. They're hiding something big in there. I'll let you know what I find. I'd warn you that your plan on the island sounds reckless, but I'm sure you're fully aware. Keep in mind that the minute Dr. Amaral goes missing, the entirety of Monarch is going to be hunting you down. She's the only thing keeping Serena alive. He won't let her go without a fight. Keep safe. Save my butt. something else here? I thought there was something else here. Oh, Chronon. Sweet. Women's. Women's? Talking women's. She's like, hey bitch, you doing bitch? And I'm like, well, you see, you're women's and shit. People, it seems we are having an extra busier day. An even busier day than we anticipated. Be aware that both Liam Burke and Jack Joyce are now being held in the detention centre at the island. It should go without saying that Burke no longer has any authority within Monarch Solutions and should be treated as any other detainee. Both Burke and Joyce are considered exceptionally dangerous, and Joyce particularly so. He is Chronon active and should be handled with caution. That said, Joyce has given himself up. It's possible that he has realised the futility of his position and the fight has simply gone out of him, but I'm not convinced he has no ulterior motive. Mr. Serene has to concentrate on his speech tonight. It's extremely important to the future of this company, so please ensure that everything goes smoothly. Yeah, I'm finally actually playing it like I've been telling you I'd do for several days and fobbing you off, but this time I'm getting it done, don't worry. In the meantime, I will personally be conducting an interrogation of Joyce. Please expect my arrival at the detention centre shortly. Martin Hatch. 11 of 17. 11 of my butt. 204, huh?
That's Emily's office.
Jeez, I'm yawning like a snatch. Where is the Chronon? That way. Don't see it. Alright, whatever. There's one there, one there. Hello? What's this?
That there looks like what Beth had.
Ah.
Oh, shit. Emerald's at the party. The stutter won't last. I better find a way out of here and get to the party.
Yes. Bye, Dr. Sophia. CFR briefing. It's no exaggeration to say that the chronofield regulator, or the CFR, is at the heart of all of Monarch's technological advances. It has taken on a somewhat mythical quality, given its origins and the vital role it plays in the Lifeboat project, but in actuality the CFR's applications are very practical. That's not to say the CFR hasn't had a course-altering impact on the work Monarch Solutions does. It's been hugely influential in the development of both the stutter-proofing technology that allows us to shield large areas from the effects of a zero state, and the use of a fucking comma, enabling time to keep flowing with them and even as it stops everywhere else, as well as the smaller, personalised application of the same technology, the portable Chronon harnesses that allow our soldiers and technicians to operate freely within stutters. We think of Dr. Henry Kim as the father of all this technology, and deservedly so. But for all of his brilliance, it was he should have put a full stop there. It was his dedication to uncovering the secrets of the CFR that allowed him to make his breakthroughs. Despite Dr. Kim's hard work, the CFR's functionality is still not fully understood, and we have not been able to replicate the device. Having more than one of them would obviously be greatly advantageous to us. Listen to the way I'm speaking, listen to where the pauses are and where I take breath. That's where commas should be, and full stops. But we find ourselves in a precarious position where in order to fully investigate it, we would have to take it apart. That should have all been one sentence, really. Given its immense power, such an undertaking would pose obvious risks. Perhaps even more importantly, there's no guarantee that we would be able to put it back together again. Given that it's vital to the implementation of the Lifeboat Protocol, it's our policy to leave it intact. See, that was great! We do know, however, that the CFR can not only store an immense amount of Chronon particles, it can also tap into the main Joyce field, and, with great precision, manipulate it. It's this unique ability that our own Chronon technology replicates, albeit at far less control and efficiency. It's also what makes the Lifeboat Protocol a reality. By itself, our stutter-proofing technology is powerful and reliable, but its rate of Chronon particle consumption is high, and it increases at an alarming rate as we widen the volume of space the stutter-proofing covers. This would, on the face of it, make the stutter-proofing a very temporary solution indeed, one that could perhaps buy us some subjective weeks once we enter a permanent zero state, but which would ultimately only delay the inevitable. However, the CFR changes all of that. When the permanent stutter-proofing installed on the lifeboat, indeed, the very stutter-proofing that makes the lifeboat in the first place is directed by the CFR, the system becomes vastly more efficient. Our chronon particle consumption is reduced to around 1% of what it otherwise would be. Given that chronon particles are hard to source, even at our ground zero installation, and our stockpiles are decidedly limited, this means that the CFR makes the difference between lifeboat being a temporary stopgap solution or a very long-term undertaking that, hopefully, allows us to eventually find a solution to the end of time. I thought there was no solution. We stopped or some shit like that. Chronon disrupted wave function subject, aka shifters. Slide 1. Much of what we know about the shifters is theoretical, based on observations made by Mr. Serene and the limited experimentation we have been able to conduct on the only subject we have managed to capture. They do not seem to have a stable physical presence. Rather, the data we are gathering appears to be fragmented and contradictory. Something about that, the data we are gathering. As if there were countless versions of the subject occupying the same space. Our current theory is that they somehow exist in a persistent state of quantum superposition. Or to put it another way, with reference to the famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. The full mechanics and implications of this exceed our current understanding, but on a practical level it seems to make them highly resistant to injury. It appears that even if the shifter encounters deadly force, it may kill one of its aspects, but because it exists as multiple iterations of itself, including iterations that were not killed by the force, it doesn't stop. Current theory suggests that the only way to stop a shifter is to cause its wave function to collapse from the superposition to a single eigenstate? What's an eigenstate? In practical terms, the shifter must be affected with deadly force enough times for it to run out of healthy versions of itself. As such, direct confrontation with the shifter should be a last resort. Side 2. Contact with the shifter is extremely dangerous. We know that they are essentially mobile repositories of vast amounts of chronon particles, and that they can only exist in a zero state, an area which has been depleted of chronon particles, typically by a fault in the Mayer-Joyce field that encompasses the universe. Colloquially, we refer to these as stutters in time. We also know that shifters are hostile to any source of chronon particles other than themselves within stutters. So any chronon-active individual within a stutter may find themselves targeted by shifters. It appears that movement in stutters, by which we mean the very movement of particles within the space in which time flows, not merely the movement of an individual, disturbs them and they respond with considerable aggression. As discussed previously, shifters are extremely resistant to damage. They are also quite physically formidable, but their biggest threat is the distortion field around them. Its exact nature is unknown, but we know it warps the properties of the space surrounding them, exerting great physical stress and unpredictable forces on its surroundings. Again, in practical terms, close proximity to a shifter may be fatal even if no actual physical contact takes place. Slide 3. The stutter-proofing technology Monarch Solutions has advanced... The stutter-proofing technology Monarch Solutions has advanced, offers solid protection against shifters. Time flows normally within a shutter-proofed area, so shifters simply cannot exist within them. Therefore, as long as stutter-proofing remains active, shifters are not a problem. However, stutter-proofing of large outside areas is not feasible given our chronon particle budget, so we have developed other technology to defend against shifters, the chronon dampeners. A chronon dampener works by annihilating free-floating chronon particles within a specified area. As shifters' forms are hypersaturated with chronon particles, they cannot enter an area in which a chronon dampener is active without their wave function collapsing. Therefore, our operatives in the field have a solid portable defense against shifters. Our own technology is shielded against the dampener's effects, so activities in stutters undertaken by our strikers and other operatives are not hindered. However, as an unfortunate side effect, the dampeners have a crippling effect on individuals who are chronon active without the aid of technology. Accordingly, should Mr. Serene be present, you should always make him aware of your intentions before activating a dampener. You may rest assured that the dampener is not powerful enough to do actual physical harm to Mr. Serene, whose system constantly produces new chronon particles to replace the ones that are lost, but as the dampener's effects are unpleasant and enervating, Such an encounter is likely to lead to an awkward conversation about future career prospects. And enervating. Unpleasant and enervating. Projected fracture progression. We've looked at the preliminary data on the frequency and severity of the stutters and crunched the numbers, and the results are alarming. Our original projection, which gave us years until the fracture reached the point where time breaks down completely, does not match up with the progression of stutters we are experiencing. Put simply, the stutters are happening more and more frequently, clearly indicating that the Mayer-Joyce field is breaking down much faster than we thought. Taking the rate of acceleration, we can hypothesize that we might have as little as 24 hours until we reach the end of time, or the point at which time stops and no longer starts up again. We do not know why the original projection was wrong, and why that data, which we do consider reliable coming as it does from Mr. Serene, seems to entirely contradict our current findings. Regardless, the main issue seems clear. In order to achieve Monarch Solutions' stated goals, the lifeboat protocol should be activated ASAP. Cooper pair? Cooper? Projected fracture program. Oh, is that I was reading? Right, see. Right. Almost done.
The end of time was approaching quickly. Less than 24 hours away.
Yeah.
Mr. Serene believed it would take years to run its course. Admittedly, he was wrong.
Cool. Sophia, as promised in our latest session, I am now going to transcribe what I recall from my dreams. I still have doubts that this exercise will help alleviate my symptoms, but I'm willing to explore the idea further if you truly believe in its merit. For someone who is not a medical doctor, let alone a mental health professional, you seem to take a great interest in my thoughts. Not that I don't appreciate it. Here is my first attempt. I recall a haunting image of 7 red doors. Each door had a wrought iron handle that was dripping liquid metal onto the ground, creating a pool in the middle of the room. I looked down into the aqueous metallic glow at my feet to see my own glimmering reflection, revealing that I had aged half a lifetime. Startled, I looked back up to discover that only one door remained. Jack Joyce stood in front of it. The heat in the room was overwhelming. Jack was sweating profusely, his skin red and peeling open. He begged me to take him back home, but there was no door leading home. I opened the only door left and entered, discovering that we were back in the same room we had just exited. He refused to come to terms with this and opened the door again. I followed him over and over as he desperately opened the doors, forever leading us back to where we started. The heat grew and he howled in pain, begging to know why I made the other doors disappear, why there was only one path. He begged me to bring the other doors back. He begged me to take him home. The iron pool burst into flames. Jack screamed in agony. I grabbed him, told him that we needed to learn to endure the heat, to embrace the flame. I knew it would come to pass eventually, but the only way to survive it was to accept its inevitability. My body began swaying rapidly, dancing to the movement of the flames around me until my bones faded out of existence, and I surrendered to the fire until we were one and the same. I was no longer one being in one place and time. My life force spread evenly across the flames, until I was no longer an individual in one body, but a grander shifting entity. I could feel Jack being consumed within my essence. I felt a power within the heat, a clarity of intent. I forgot about my desire to ever return from the flames, because the body that once desired to return was lost forever. I became the very thing that I had entered, and it became me, a cyclical fury chasing itself, Ouroboros. I woke up in a cold sweat. I quickly wrote down words that poisoned my mind in that moment. Delmore Schwartz was right. Time is the fire. Who's Delmore Schwartz? Schwartz, whatever. With Jack Joyce in our custody, I thought it relevant to forward you a message you sent me years ago. Do not underestimate the significance he holds in your life. I understand your concern that he is reluctant to accept the inevitability of what is coming. However, when he sees the whole picture, he'll have no choice but to believe. We all had our doubts once. You showed us the light. Give him time. Right. How many more do we have to go? This is 1, 2 there. Where's the... It's there. What's that thing over there? It appears to be through the wall. Yeah, it's through the wall, isn't it? Right, there's nothing in here for me. So, we are very close to being over then. It's just this one in here. You gonna say anything, woman? Seriously? Cool. Whatever you say, dude.